We called over 186 pips in our last 4-hour public swing trading experiment video we did live on YouTube. We made over 4,000 pips in our class last week, and that's just in the last week or two. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel where we show you trading is as easy as you make it on yourself. For those of y'all who don't know me, my name is Jenny Baker and I am part of the six-figure trading coach community. Obviously, before we go into all the details and all the goodies, we're going to go over not only the trades we looked at live on YouTube a couple of weeks ago, but we're going to go over a couple of new ones tonight too, where you have a chance to maybe take those trades, take that analysis, and go see what kind of percentage of gain you can get on your own accounts, demo or real, alongside us, just to show you that trading is not that complex. Most people overcomplicate it, and that's why they keep losing. So let's see. Obviously, we have to start with our disclaimer that says, don't trade what you can't afford to lose. Pretty simple, right? We know that in the crypto markets and all over the place, people have made insane amounts of return on investment in the last couple of weeks alone. Better yet, in trading, we know there's just a ton going on in terms of brokers and platforms and meta quotes and Russia and so many things around the world. So please make sure you understand this is a high-risk industry. Obviously, do your research before you work with any broker, etc., etc. You guys know the drill. While we're on the topic of brokers, I probably need to update this one as well. This is my link tree for all the brokers I am currently working with. We found out some new information that's kind of exciting, but I try not to be the viral guru person on YouTube who's spreading the next rumor, right? Supposedly, one of the problems MetaQuotes was having was not with U.S. citizens, as much as some of the brokers tried to paint that as. Supposedly, the problem was with some of these white label unregulated brokers using the MetaQuote license against the MetaQuote, terms of service. So if that is the case, then it turns out we are probably in a safe playground. The brokers we are currently working with are likely going to be around, and we shouldn't have any issues with MetaQuotes in theory. Obviously, we can make no guarantees. But yes, I'm heavily leaning toward N1C, AUX, as well as LQD is still my main go-to in terms of one of my longest standing, as well as, Envy, Hero, and then Liquid. Those are pretty much the majority of the ones I have the most amount of capital in currently. Please do check the link tree. I would still implore you to build a relationship, put real capital in as many of those as you can, just to protect yourself from all the nonsense that is kind of coming down the hatch in so many different areas. But that's on brokers. So we are going to go take a look at the trades we looked at 2 weeks ago, and we've got a couple of new ones tonight. We know we have a huge news week this week, so we're going to play it safely, but it's a great time to go make some money. Before I pop off of our little presentation, I have to say, in the last few weeks, we have had so much turmoil between broker stuff, identity stuff on Discord, just so much stuff going on. So first off, please know, I am never going to be DMing you and offering you anything on Discord, WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere, period, no matter what, okay? So that's first and foremost. Just know that there's nothing I talk about in a DM that I do not also talk about with my community. So protect yourself. Please, please, please be careful. There are people, presenting as me on Discord and what have you. It's just, the world that we live in. So please, that's first and foremost. Secondly, we have a free public community on Discord. Please do join it. Just don't accept DMs. It's a great place to come with like-minded people who are looking to change their lives. And of course, we have our private membership as well, where we have launched not only our Copier, we also have quite a few people testing our US 30 Copier, which is super exciting and super sexy, and people are completely geeked out. Of course, too many of them did not listen, and not all of them have it on demo, but it should be demoed at the time. So we'll see. A lot of cool things happening. So please do come on over there, take a look. We're hoping to build a community of like-minded people who are working in the different business spaces and crypto spaces and coin launches and all the different aspects, from futures to options to retail trading to stocks even. So in that community, we have a lot of just brain melds of intelligent people from all walks of life, from so many countries around the world. And that is the most exciting thing I think I've ever got a chance to be part of. Better yet, get to say I'm helping build. So just so you know, that's in the link tree as well, of course, as well as our TikTok and everything else. But that's all I've got in terms of opening. Before I go any further, pip counts. Listen, this is all a mess. I'm sorry. That's not on me. But pip count from broker to broker does vary. It's not going to stop varying either. So right now, our class demo, I haven't even decided which one I'm going to use just yet. But previously we counted a pip exactly like it was on Hugo's Way and or AFX. We're likely going to be choosing another broker yet again, just because the broker playing field has become so, unregular, right? Irregular, if you will. So just know, measure your own pips. You guys get the idea. 1% is 1%, regardless of whether that's 50 pips or 500 pips. A measured move is still the measured move, regardless of whether your broker measures it this way or the other one measures it that way. So just something to kind of keep in mind. We're keeping up on this to show people what's plausible. That's the whole idea. So that's what I've got on pips. Let's go take a look at the trades we looked at and our little spreadsheet and how that's doing. And then let's go see if we can't find you some new trades for the next 2 weeks. Okay, so here's our handy dandy spreadsheet. I super value being able to say, hey, here's the pair we're looking at. Here's what it looks like when we said, and come back to that same pair in a few days, weeks, or hours, depending on the time frame you're trading, and say, okay, hey, what did this do? Right? You're not going to be right 100% of the time. In fact, you can even see some heavy losses kind of sprinkled out in the last few weeks. That's okay. Overall, you don't need to be perfect all the time, right? You don't have to have that. Our current accuracy on these calls right now is only sitting at 86%. Not awesome. My typical accuracy kind of hovers in that low 90s, high 80s, but that's okay. That just kind of happens when the numbers are so small. There's only 66 trades soon. There's actually only 63 currently. And then you end up with an average like this. So I want this to be real because I wanted to show people that it doesn't have to be the, JGS, Jenny's Golden Strategy. It could be Ichimoku. It could be, your order blocks. It could be fair value gaps. It could be anything really. As long as your strategy is sound and you can make management around it, you can make money with it. And that's it. If you can follow it, that's the whole concept though. So needless to say, you know what we're doing. Every 2 weeks or so, we come on this YouTube, we say we're using this exact strategy. It's the same strategy I use in our private classes in the morning, except for we're on a smaller time frame. We use a little bit of other analysis, as well as we do indices, which are obviously much more expensive instruments, I should say. They make you a lot more money depending on the broker and so many other factors. Fair. That's fair. But we do really, really well. So here's where we're at. We know we're always using structure as a stop loss. This way it's defined. You can't say, well, she knew something I didn't, or she managed differently than I did. It's already predefined. So we're doing the same thing. This way it's duplicatable. There's no hemming and hawing and oopses and whats. It's all defined. You're always protecting within about 25 to 50 pips for those of you guys who don't know what ATR is. And for the rest of you, we're protecting our profit, scaling out, locking, or trailing as we come into one ATR or so. And that ATR is based off of the 4-hour time frame because these are 4-hour trades. Again, all predefined. 2 weeks ago, we looked at these pairs. I'm counting Chef JPY actually as a break even because I ended up taking quite a few of break evens after swaps and everything else, depending on the broker and all the different stuff we had. But overall, this fair and square moved 82 pips from where we entered and never broke structure, which we have again predefined. There's no hemming and hawing. It's already defined. We already know. So we've done really, really well overall. That was a perfect week. Those are nice to happen in between, right? Those are great. I do want to zoom in a little bit. Let's see if my little doohickey will let me do this. We're up over 17,000 pips, and that's not a lot of indices. But pay attention over here. We know that value per pip is going to vary from broker to broker. We know your account size is going to vary from person to person. But to give you an idea, your savings account, best case scenario, is offering you 4, 5, 6% in a year. Somehow people come to this industry and they freak out because they're not making a bajillion percent. They're not making their $100,000 in a day, so they over leverage and make poor choices. But if you could make 6% in a month, even just a month, 1 month, that's all, 1 month. Do you know how life changing that could be if you're trading on $10,000? How much money that actually is? Because this was started in May of 2023, so we're at week, gosh, I don't know. That was week 20, so we just finished week 20 to give you an idea. Again, taking about 20 minutes twice a month, okay? Look at that number. If you failed at that by 90%, 90% failed at that. 90%. And that's granted risking a lot per trade. You need to have enough leverage to even make that kind of thing work. But still, go on the smaller amount. There's no way your savings account is giving you this. There's no way most of the investment platforms you're using is going to offer anything like this. Acorns and Stash doesn't come close. And aside from some of those crypto, big bumps we saw, there's not a lot of other places that do come this close. Could you imagine making $130,000 in 20 weeks? In 20 minutes, by the way. $130,000 in 20 weeks in 20 minutes twice a month. That's crazy, right? And even if you failed at that by 90% or risked a smaller amount, you're still making a lot of money. That's what I'm hoping people see, is they stop over leveraging, stop trying to gamble so much, trade very, very, very consistently, conservatively, and just buy yourself back some time freedom, buy yourself back some financial freedom, and that's it. So super excited about that. In our, in our private group, last week we got over 4,000 pips. Of course, we have some losses here too. I took a pretty big loss on an US 30 actually. Otherwise, that's all been going really well as well. Obviously, our accuracy is going to be a little higher just because we haven't had a lot of wins or losses just yet. They will scatter. This inevitably will come down to that 88, 89, 91 percentage of the way. And last but not least, we've got our all-time in terms of our morning classes. We have over 1 million pips documented, traded live as a community, on recording, videos for all of them, screenshots of all of them, and evidence to say, hey, look, this is what we've done. Is every week easy? No. Do you still need to know how to self-manage or purchase something like the ATM, which is a trade manager? Yes. Is it a lot to learn? Yes. But this is what we've accomplished. You'll see, again, over time the law of averages comes through. You're going to average somewhere around that 88, 89%. But that's what we're doing twice a week in our private community. But as you guys can see, let's get back to our public stuff. These are the 3 pairs we're going to be looking at, and these are the 3 that we're going to go review. Remember, all of this is predefined. It's not subjective, okay? So let's go take a look at how these performed since we talked about them, and then the 3 trades that I'm looking at today. Okay, as you guys know, our broker platforms are all over the place, so please forgive the fact that I just don't have the same exact markup. It's just we've been everywhere, and that's, thanks to brokers and all the stuff we've got going on. As you guys can see, these are the ones we were looking at. So we're going to start with AUDCAD, which should be marked. So we know it's predefined. From this point, we were looking for the buy. We know we're protecting within 1 ATR, which in this case is about 16-ish pips, or 25 to 50 pips. So from where we called that has moved 49-ish pips. I think I got 42, 41 out of this, something like that. Still not bad. Did not continue the way I was looking for it to. I still think we've got some more upside potential here, but we'll see long term. It's not currently ready for anything else. So this one is done off of our table. But yes, if you're managing properly, you should have managed this into a profitable trade somehow or another. So that's one, right? I'm going to hit O. I'm going to remove all that stuff off of our screen. I'm going to hit W, take it off of our watch list, and we're going to move on. What's another one we were looking at? USDJPY, what a mess. First off, before I even continue, this trade is still valid and it still has room. We have failed to break these highs. We have failed to stay above these highs. I am still looking for the sell on this. So for those of y'all who are holding some, I still think that this is a safe playground. As you can see, our golden strategy is telling us we still also have some more room to the downside. Needless to say, man, we have failed to break out of this sucker plus some over and over again. 169. We really haven't broke past that 169 level, and it just is failing to break past. So I'm really looking for this to break down quite a bit. I'm looking at an easy 100, 200-ish pips on this trade. Not a bad way to be. If you're still holding some, I am. By all means, continue to hold some. I have taken a multitude of entries throughout most of these moves. I've not taken very many buys, a couple of scalps, I think, but in general, 100% sells. Trade's still valid. It just, sometimes 2 weeks seems like a long time to us humans, but nothing has really happened yet. We've got our first impulse. We've retested. We're really looking for this to break out to the downside. So if you guys are interested or curious, by all means, go mark up your own chart. I am going to remove this from our board, unfortunately. I do think it has a lot more room to go, a ton more room. We love it when a swing trade sets up like this and it just moves beautifully in this 2-week period. But inevitably, sometimes we get stuck in stuff like this, where it doesn't move, for 2, 3 weeks, even 4 weeks or more. So that's just part of trading, something to think about. I hear people get so fussy, even when they're winning, which is an anomaly for me. That is such an anomaly. It's a mind-boggling situation when people are winning and they're still going crazy because they don't know how to be patient. But yes, still more room on that sell. We are going to take it off of our watch list. Last but not least, also still has room. Here's where we are. If you're certain of the analysis, go take a look for yourself. Don't listen to me. This is our high. This is where we came into. Yes, it respected our 4-hour cushion. Yes, trade is still valid. And yes, trade still has more room. A ton of more room, actually. So to give you an idea from where price is currently at, we're looking for an easy 98-ish pips. And if I go out of time frame, I'm looking to come into this level first, retest, and break down lower. So you're talking a ton of potential pips on the table. A ton. That's 300-ish. So we said, what, 100 to 300 pips? Not a bad way to be. Not bad at all. So something to maybe keep on your watch list. I am fortunately taking it off of ours. So we're going to remove that. And we're going to take it off of our watch list. Let's talk a little bit about the 3 next ones. Before we even go on, we know there's some big news. I think it's next week about the banking system, whatever, the trial run. This week we have an FP, as well as we have a chairman's speech tomorrow. We just have a ton going on. Just sentiment around the world, we have a ton going on. So please, before you take any of these trades, be very, very mindful. I've never been one to over-risk or over-leverage or over-trade much during NFP week. I don't give it too much weight in terms of my analysis, but particularly when you're on the US dollar, please give it some weight. Pretty please. So here's where we're at. This is EURJPY. I'm doing this preemptively. First off, I'm not going to be in my home a little bit later. Secondly, I'm already also in this position once, and I will take in another position when I call it here. If you're brand new to trading, I would implore that you do not take this in live money, but rather you use paper trading or demo. I am looking for the sell down. I'm going to make this red. I always mark this up on the candle prior to the one that I'm on. So in this case, if I can make it work, here we go. So the candle prior to the one that I'm on, I'm putting my entry in here. So as soon as I get off of this, I'm putting my entry down, right? I'm going to solidify this so I can't accidentally manipulate it. I'm going to move this closer where price is literally sitting. Double click so I can't manipulate it. Then I'm going to go take this as my sell entry, right? EURJPY, potential double top, right? Multiple different formations. If we're looking at the big picture of what this risk to reward is, figure my stop loss is above the biggest part of structure plus an ATR cushion. The ATR on this is 33 pips. It's pretty big, right? It's bigger than some of those other pairs we were looking at. Looking to come down into here, that is not a bad risk to reward at all. Okay, you've got about a 3.5 to 1. Very, very easy to manage trade. This one shouldn't be, in theory, as impacted by all the news and stuff this week, but we'll see. So either way, that's number one. Looking to sell EURJPY to the downside. In fact, the majority of the JPYs I'm very, 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 very bearish on. Obviously, you can't over-leverage and be in all of them. So pick your poison. NZD and AUD have already made their move. CHF has a big move to make. CAD JPY has a pretty reasonable move to make. And of course, EURJPY I think has that modest move. And UJ also has a beautiful move as well. So here's our next one. I'm going to zoom in. I did this consistently. This way people could duplicate it, right? I'm marking up the candle prior to the one I'm on. I'm going to literally where price is at. I'm taking an active order on the sell side. Our JGS is already confirmed. We're broke through 50. We've already retested. Remember, you're protecting this pretty quickly, no matter what, especially given the news. Given the news, you want to make sure that you're protected because you don't want to get stuck back into this little nonsensory. But Euro, USDJPY, looking for the sell to the downside. I'm going to zoom out one time. I'm going to hit sell. This is a little janky because this is technically the high, but as you come on over, it's a little hard to see. So I'm going to put this up here. We're just eyeballing it just to kind of give you an idea. Put it all the way up here. Give it some room. I'm looking for a pretty feisty move. Let this catch up. That's about a 3 to 1 from where price is currently at. Doesn't seem right, but let me see, just out of curiosity. 114. We're gonna, yep, about a 3 to 1. And that's just into this level. If I zoom out, we have even more to go than that. But I'd like to see price at least come down into that 200, 300-ish pip range. Make sure you're locking, scaling, or trailing on your way down. Remember, as you scale out of that first entry, as price pulls back up, you can take additional entries that you also self-manage all the way down. And it's a beautiful way to be. It means on the times where you're wrong, you take one loss, right? One time, one loss, fine. On the times where your analysis is right, you have 15 opportunities to come down and get a whole bunch more pips. For example, on GJ, a couple people are just taking an entry, and some of us are up 300-400 pips already because we've had lots of scales and we've already cashed out a lot of times too. So not a bad way to be if you're interested. But that's USDJPY for the sell, 4-hour time frame. JGS is ready, using 4-hour structure as a stop loss, protecting within 1 ATR or 25 to 50 pips. Duplicatable, predefined, easy. Go test this. Don't listen to me, but go test it on your demo and say, wait, if I got out of my head, got out of my way, got out of every darn strategy and indicator and trading view person on YouTube, and just did one thing long enough, could this actually work? Try it in a demo account, paper trade it, and see. Tell me in a couple months how it's going. That's USDJPY. Last but not least, we took EURJPY all the way up. Now, most people didn't hold it all the way up. Hold on. I wasn't going to talk about this, but just follow suit. We took EURJPY all the way up. We took GN multiple. We took a big portion of this sell, big portion of this buy, big portion of this buy, and a big portion of this sell. I typically don't get the very end of any of these trades. It's just not in line with my methodology. I always seem to miss that part. But needless to say, these are beautiful trades. So they take some time to play out. EURJPY, same thing. EURJPY has made us move. GCAD has made us move, right? Let's go to AUDCAD. AUDCAD still has quite a bit of room to go. So we've got our head and shoulders. We pulled up. We've retested the 50. We've came up. We've really kissed this little area of interest, as I call it. We've come down to retest previous high. And now we're still waiting to break out. We're respecting this low. I like this trade a lot. It's not that heavily weighted in terms of value. The pip count is not very high. So please make sure you're monitoring this. That whole 25 pip rule might be on the low end just because the ATR is pretty low. But let's take a look. Last thing I'll say is our JGS has not yet painted, right? The golden strategy is not painted yet. And it won't until the close of this candle at the soonest. But again, I'm not going to be around for that. So we're going here today, right here, right now, together. So candle prior to the one I'm on. Coming to mark this up. I'm going to make it green. And there you go. Looking for the buy on AUDCAD. What's the risk and reward? The beauty of this is, can you use major structures as stop loss on this? Yes. But because of how far price is sitting away from that, we've already got this pullback. You can use this plus a 4-hour ATR, and you've still got yourself a pretty good risk to reward. So figure all the way down into there. Dun, dun, dun. 89.77, 2.7 to 1. Not bad. And mind you, you can scale into that a multitude of times. Like you can come into that a whole bunch. So not a bad way to be at all. Big picture stuff. 1, 2. Can we break above it? We can, but we'll see. I really want to see how price reacts at this level. What is that? 90. So 0.90128. 0.90128. Not a lot of pips, right? I want to see what price does here before I say, hey, look, we're longer term looking to go up. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But either way, an easy 15, 20, 50 pips on this one. Yes. Again, the ADR is very, very low. So I'm not expecting to get, a whole bunch. But 5% on this trade or 5% on another trade is still 5%. Okay. So if you're risking 5% and you're closing out of half of your position, for example, that's still a 2.5% gain. If you're risking 1% and every time you hit 1 ATR, you're closing out of a portion of that, right? Cool. You got that over and over and over and over again. You're mitigating your risk and you're expanding your account just exponentially. And it's such a beautiful way to be. But that's all I've got for you guys tonight is a couple of great trades. If you are finding these videos helpful, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you have certain questions that you would like me to go over or topics you want me to cover, please do put them in the chat. And last but not least, pretty please check our link tree. I think we just added our TikTok and our team has done an amazing job at making those. I'm super kind of excited. Never really planned on going that direction, but if we're going to do the darn thing, let's do the darn thing. And of course, the bigger we make this community, the better we make this community, the better it helps me to serve you to bring the things that you guys need, as well as build a mastermind of just great people who are experts in so many different industries. And when you get all those kinds of people together, the kind of impact we can make in each other's lives as well as our own is kind of exciting. Anyways, that's all I've got for you guys tonight. Happy trading. Please be safe this week for NFP. As always, thank you for watching. Take care and God bless.